It's a new point of view to chew over what's new to you. Shoot the breeze, make buddies, and Melissa MC's families, memories, original artist series.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this beautiful, balmy Saturday night here in New York. Thank you so much for tuning in. How's everyone's week been? Everything going well? So much is going on in the world, and I'm so delighted to bring you the Original Artist Series, supporting artists from all around the world. As you know, a few weeks ago, we had Leonie's brother and brother's partner on doing some art from South Africa. We have some programming coming from the UK coming up pretty soon. So we're really trying to go global. So with our next guest, I didn't really have to go too global because she is from my hometown. She and I have been friends and colleagues for a very long time, but she in and of itself with her career is very global. So we're going to be hearing lots of different stories about her career and also where it took her around the world. So tonight we have Jaclyn Bradley Palmer.
Hi, Melissa.
How are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
You. Of course. I mean, I forgot to say in my opening that it's the 9th episode. And
congratulations.
Thank you. And, you know, with a lot of the people I've chosen to launch with are all people I know pretty well. I had one couple that's a ballroom couple that I know, but I didn't know super well. So eventually I'll branch out, but I'm trying to it's going to take me about a year to get through all of the talented people I know just in my own life. So.
Very exciting. And you know, our lives have been so parallel in so many ways.
It's wild.
So when we connect again, it's just always really exciting.
I know. I guess before we, dig deep into I've been following you, obviously. I think I've known you since you were very young because we did Palace Youth Theater together.
Yeah.
We have some of our friends watching tonight. But, we've crossed paths so many times, but your career, I just think, is one of the most interesting that I know of.
Thank you.
Brave and...
Well, I don't know if we ever talked about this before, but I have to tell you, before we did Palace? I'm not sure the exact timeline, but you were in Gypsy. You were Gypsy Rose Lee. And I remember coming from a town where it's kind of, it was a liberal town, but there were some conservative views. And here you were 16 or 17?
I actually was 19.
Were you 19? Okay. So you're 19 and all of a sudden here's this person that came from a very well-known family and had this reputation and you were very confident and stripped in front of the whole town.
And my mom was the choreographer.
Your mom, and I thought I don't know, there was something about that moment that just made me realize how important it was to be in your full expression. And it was just really inspiring for a young girl to watch someone a little bit older to really be in their full power as a woman. And so it was an impactful performance for me to be I was in the chorus, so it was really important for me to witness you doing that.
Well, thank you for saying that. I think my mom would be excited that you feel that way.
Oh, and I remember your mom. What an inspirational lady she was too.
Yes, thank you. And I love your mom as well. Your mom is super fun, and your dad. So
we both had really, really great families.
We have great families. Yeah. So let's dig in. We have so much to cover. So Jaclyn and I are from the same town. We're from Lorain, Ohio.
Yes.
In fact, my grandmother lived on your street where your family lives, and then my aunt and uncle bought it, so it stayed in the family for quite a few decades.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with certain family members passing, they no longer live there. But what I remember the first time I met you. But let's talk about, in your own words, where are you from, And what do you remember about your first artistic endeavor?
Okay. So I'm from Lorain, Ohio, and I'm very proud. My dad is now mayor of the town, so I'm very, very proud of being a part of its actual revitalization. We, growing up, we always heard from our grandparents what a great town Lorain, Ohio was. But, we were a steel town, the steel mills closed, and so a lot of people were out of jobs. So it was a depressed city. And now we are in this amazing renaissance, and there's new restaurants and bars and hotels, and just I'm opening a music school, so it's in this amazing revitalization. And so I'm proud to be from Lorain, as Melissa is. But my first performance was, I had done Peter Pan before I did it with you. And I was only 6 years old. And I remember they took all the youngest to audition for Tinkerbell. And they stood us in a line and they had us say 2 words, silly boy. And I was the last one, and I was the shortest one. I'm still 4'11", so I was very, very tiny. And everyone was saying it. And as they're saying it, I'm thinking, they have no expression, silly boy. Silly boy, silly boy. And then it got to me at the end and I went, silly boy. And I did it with all my heart and all my gusto. And I got Tinkerbell. And so that was my first kind of moment where I thought, if I really give all of myself, I can land a part. And so I was Tinkerbell in that production, and then auditioned again and got Wendy when you were music director.
Yes, and it was pretty much, your voice is so beautiful, and it has always been, even before you were, super trained. Obviously, you're very, well trained, but even before you were trained, your gift is gorgeous. And
thank you.
Yeah, no, I've always loved your voice, and so yeah, with you and Greg Wozniak, our friend, I think he's watching tonight.
I hope so. Hi, Greg.
You and Greg, him as Peter and you as Wendy, were just magical.
And we got to fly.
Yes, I remember John Handyside and Gene Dolmage, and I don't remember who else was on the
Carlos and John Carlos Gonzalez. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone. It was such a great production, especially for
coming from this town, which is kind of, we were always, the small town outside of Cleveland. I didn't realize this, but we're really the 10th largest town in Ohio. So I found that out when my dad was there. We're not a little town. And but it wasn't, the glory of Columbus and Cincinnati and Cleveland. So, but here we were in a town that really the arts were really respected and revered. We had the Palace Theater, which is this beautiful theater, and the kids got to go and do productions, and they flew us. So there was that was one opportunity. I don't know. The people flying me were like Aaron Simmons, who's 15. He looked about 25. He had muscles. But, we had 15-year-olds flying, 13-year-olds 10 feet in the air. So they had, I don't know if that would happen today.
No, I'm not sure about that. No, I remember it just being such a magical time.
Yeah. And it was just, we are considered the international city, and everyone was just very loving. I don't remember, it was just a very, we found our tribe very young, and that was a cool thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're still friends.
Yeah.
In the beginning of quarantine, I remember I was looking through to tell everybody tonight, and I saw that, we did Zooms as early as like late April or early May, when we're all quarantined, just kind of not knowing what's going on in the world. So still supporting one another.
Yeah, that was a really fun reunion.
Yeah. So Palace Youth Theater, and then I know you went to Lorain Catholic.
Yes.
How did that prepare you for college?
We also had a really good drama department. Nan Mahoney was our teacher. She was our English teacher, and we did a lot of Shakespeare in our English classes. And then we always did 2 or 3 productions a year. Had a great, theater in the school, and she was just really wonderful to work with. And did musicals there, and regular theater plays there. So it was kind of I knew what I was going to pursue. that I was going to pursue music and the arts. So, but having the Palace Youth Theater and also my experience at Lorain Catholic, it helped to prepare me to go to college for the arts as well.
And then you mentioned an opportunity you had getting, like auditioning for college. You had an opportunity. Tell us a little bit about that.
I went to Interlaken for camp because my voice teacher, I studied with a woman named Laura Schutze. She was in Rocky River, and I would go to her every week, and she said, okay, if you're really going to go pursue this, you could go to Interlaken for summer camp because Josh Groban had gone there. Well, he was there around the time I was, but Jewel had gone there and all these amazing opera singers. So I thought I would go, and it was really, I mean, it was everyone there was great and very, very talented. And I remember they offered these auditions to, U of M and Indiana University. And I didn't know much about Indiana at the time, but I went and I sang, actually I had just done Brigadoon. So I sang Waiting for My Dearie with my Scottish accent. And the dean of the music school of Indiana started to weep. And I made him cry, and I got this scholarship to go to Indiana University. And at the time, like I said, I didn't know much about Indiana, but I went to visit the school. I loved the campus, met a teacher. Her name was Ms. Kukuro, who was a really, really good teacher. And I was there for 4 years of undergrad.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then after college, you moved to New York.
I think after singing so much Mozart and Bach and all the art songs, I wanted to create. I had this longing to do something that was my own. And I, on a whim, after graduation, moved to New York City. I moved there September 1st of 2001, so it was 10 days before the terrorist attack. And it was a really crazy time in New York, but it definitely fueled my emotions to begin writing my own music.
Right. And you had not a fun, I wouldn't call it a fun story, but a very important story about your 9/11.
Yeah, so I met this roommate on roommate.com. I literally was like, I'm moving to New York City. Back in that was a scary thing back then, roommate.com. Who was I going to find in New York City? But she, I'm an Italian, come from an Italian family. She was an Italian girl. We got along very well. And I moved into her studio apartment. So we had a futon that she slept in, and I had a little, twin bed, and we shared the studio. And I just moved there, and I said, listen, Leanne, play hooky tomorrow. I start this restaurant job. Take me around. It's Tuesday tomorrow. Just take the day off. She's like, I haven't taken a day off in so long. And she worked for Oppenheimer Funds in the World Trade Center. So at 6 a.m., she sets her alarm. She wakes up. She calls her boss. Says, I'm not going to come in today. I'm not feeling well. You go back to sleep. And right after the first plane hit, her father calls her frantically. She says, Dad, I'm still in bed. He said, thank God. Turn on the news. And we turned on the news when the first plane hit. And at that time, we're still thinking, oh my gosh, what a terrible accident, because you just see this, there's something with air traffic control, something with the pilot got ill, we didn't know what it was. And then I see a second plane, and I'm thinking still, your thoughts is it's a rescue mission, it's, a news camera, a news helicopter. There was another plane, and then we knew something was terribly wrong. But she did not go into work that day. Because she was supposed to be taking me around. And so everyone from her floor got out okay, but she definitely missed that, being a part of that tragedy. And
so you saved her life, essentially.
I don't know if I saved her life, but, it was meant to be for her.
Right.
Yeah. Amazing. There's stories about that. You being in New York, I'm sure you hear those stories all the time of someone's alarm that didn't go off that day, or people that didn't get not on a plane,
Oh, absolutely. My story during that time, I was living in LA, the apartment you eventually moved into, which we'll get to that. And my roommate, came and told me, and my story was that I was in Anchorage, Alaska the day before. And I had started my first theater contract the night of 9/11, start rehearsal. And I flew on the 10th to get back for rehearsal because I was doing like a short contract. And I remember just waking up. I was just, I think for days, I just was in shock. Just remembering, I would have been on a ship.
Mm.
Who knows when I would have gotten home, but just all the stories of just missing that opportunity to,
Yeah, being 22 years old and in a new city and not really sure what's going on and feeling just this out of control feeling while it was happening around you. And then in the days after, it was really sad because you saw all of these missing person posters that people were hoping that their loved ones would turn up, and
Right.
and hundreds and thousands of those posters. So that was really. And then we got out of the city for a bit, but and when I came back, it wasn't the same for the 2 years that I lived there.
Yeah.
What people were telling me is that just New York City was not New York City for a long
But you
time.
had something really important happen to you in New York that you learned your passion and your skill for writing music.
Yeah, the week, let's see, so that would have been the 11th, I think on the 22nd, I walked into a Bleecker Street, what was it? The Bitter End. There's this club called The Bitter End, and I walked in and I met this guy who was on stage, and I just was like, oh my gosh, he's a brilliant songwriter. And I then started collaborating with him and started to, write music and record my own music. So, sometimes these tragic things lead you to your next path.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's talk about 2003. I was at the Hollywood Bowl doing My Fair Lady with John Lithgow and Melissa Errico. And I get a phone call from you, and I answered, and I believe your number back then was a 917, but I answered, and I don't think it said your name. I had a Nokia, I think, older phone.
Yeah.
But I remember, we're going on, 20 years from now, or 20 years ago, almost. 3 years will be 20 years. And I remember you saying, Melissa, I am thinking about moving to LA and planning on it. And do you have any, insight, or I'd love to get together? And I was like, this is serendipity, because I had already accepted an apartment and I was already auditioning and flying back and forth. And then you hit it off with Jamie really well.
Yeah.
This is where
I just remember you telling me, I'm looking for an apartment. Do you have any suggestions of areas or people? And you were like, I might actually have a room for you. Why don't you come meet my roommate in my apartment? And you lived on the beach in Playa del Rey. And it was this amazing roommate. And I knew you, I trusted you. So that guy who I met in the Bleecker Street bar and I broke up. And now I'm 24 and I'm like, I need to go to LA. And I just had this, draw to out west. And so I'm like, okay, I have to call Melissa because Melissa's out there. And so not only did you give me suggestions and input, you gave me a roommate and a room.
Well, this is way before social media, so I don't even remember how, we really knew that, but we just.
Well, you helped me in so many ways. I didn't know LA at all, and you taught me about the headshots, and you had your headshot on a card with a phone number, and I'm like, what's that phone number? Remember they had the voicemails?
Oh yeah.
So you could just you didn't want to give people your real phone number, so you just give them this voicemail box.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I had a voicemail number 310, and you just really you set me up well in LA.
So
the back roads to Hollywood.
Right, the back. I told you about the
Robertson.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So that was just totally meant to be, because you were for Jamie and you guys just hit it off so well.
I love her. Yeah.
So give me a little bit, because this is where some of the exciting stuff happens. You tell us about your job that you got and the exciting times, because this is, I think, really cool.
Well, I started off not so exciting. I was a hostess, as so many of us are in
right. Yeah.
servers and hosts.
Build character.
But it's a big deal to get a starting job. You have to give your headshots and audition, and
Oh yeah. It's like for $20, $15 an hour. You're like, are you kidding?
yeah, and it's very competitive. So I remember getting a job at the Grove at this new restaurant. It was at the time Morel's, and I just was like, okay, I think I would love to be a personal assistant. So I first I gave my resume to my friend. First, she gave it to Kathy Griffith. She decided on somebody else, and so I'm like, well, just keep my resume, and if anything comes up, just give it out. So she called me one day and said, okay, I gave your resume out to someone. And I'm like, who? She's like, Danny Bonaducci. And I'm like, oh, the Partridge guy. Oh my God, I love his story. Because I remember his wife and him had married the night they met. She had scheduled someone to be on his radio show, and they went on a date that night. And I think the story goes, he wanted to sleep with her. She said, I'm a Christian. I can't until I'm married. And he called the preacher so that he could get married and then finally sleep with Gretchen that night. So I got married the night. So I first interviewed with her and loved her. We just became friends right away. And then I had to meet him and the kids, and I got hired. And a couple weeks later, we were starting the reality show, Breaking Bonaducci, on VH1. So it was a whirlwind. I mean, I remember growing up watching MTV and VH1, and it was a dream that, oh God, I hope someday I'm on VH1 or MTV. And here I was doing a TV show on VH1. It was really
and your music was featured up there.
Yeah, because Gretchen was a singer, and so she couldn't do a lot of covers because of royalties. So she needed to have songs to sing. So she started to sing my music on the show, which was really cool.
So cool. Yeah, I love that so much.
And wonderful of her to give me that opportunity.
Oh, definitely. And I remember, obviously we kept in touch. I remember the owner was working at the Duplex at the time, and the owner was like best friends with Danny.
They loved the Duplex because they had lived in New York City for a while before they went to, I think, Chicago or LA. I'm not sure the exact time frame, but they lived in New York and loved. Was it Bill?
Bill, yeah. Bill Morgan, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's just see another.
So many. Well, the art.
Yes, crossing.
But we just kept having.
So you had an amazing experience there, and then you got your music therapy degree.
Well, the Bonaducci years were really, exciting and fun, and award shows, and they were very, very inclusive of me and their family, and got to help with their children and help with his, managing his career with Gretchen. But it was very stressful because anyone who watched the show, Danny was like in mania during the filming, and it was not put on. I mean, maybe in the beginning they were, but he really went into full-blown mania. And I at that point loved the family so much that I kind of became part of trying to save him. And it was a very hard time. So I had a lot of anxiety from that. And so I broke my hand one day at work, and it was kind of like the outer world mirroring the inner world that I was breaking down. And so I said, I'm going to go home for a while. And at that point, they were also like, yeah, we're not going to do the season. It's probably for the best for everybody that we just take a break. And Gretchen remained one of my dearest friends. I went home and I healed my hand, and I knew I needed to give back because here I was doing music in Hollywood, which is so about, ego and me, and not very helpful to others.
Right.
So I came home and decided I was going to volunteer at Rainbow Babies and Children Hospital. And there I learned about music therapy because I said, I'm just going to start singing to the kids. And they said, well, you can't do that. You have to have a music therapy degree. And I'm like, well, what's that mean? And that question led to a degree and a career in music therapy.
I love it. I love it so much. And you had mentioned that you had a first in music therapy. You had like
yeah.
Tell me about.
So music therapy is like one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. I love it. I love the field. Um, I, with a team, led the first study in music therapy history that used live music in the operating room. And so we would present women that were going into surgery for breast cancer. Some of these women were very anxious. Were finding out if the lump was cancerous, if they were to get all of the cancer, if they had to clear margins. It was a very stressful time. We called them before their surgery and said, what song would help you feel calm and supported if you heard it before your surgery? So we learned that song and we sang it to them. And one song reduced their anxiety by 40%. So it was published in one of the biggest cancer journals called the Journal of Clinical Oncology.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was so rewarding. And the songs these women chose, some of them chose, Walk in the Sunshine. Some people wanted Amazing Grace. One woman wanted Sexual Healing. And of course, we were like, we had the doctors and the nurses in stitches as we're singing, and this, 90-year-old woman is singing along to Sexual Healing before her breast cancer surgery. So it was a hoot. It was a hoot.
That's so cool.
Really fun.
And then chapter, I don't know if this is 4, 5, 6, or 7, but the next chapter, opportunity to move to Europe, and then you had another life event.
So the biggest life event is having my daughter Roma.
She's just gorgeous.
Thank you. She's amazing, and she's 6 now. But she was just 1 year old when we moved to Holland. And I think, the first couple of years, it was just about motherhood and, learning that gig, which is such a life change and a shift in everything. But it was very, very a great experience. But she was very, she allowed me to also still be creative because she loved, the creative arts as well. We did all kinds of music classes together and dance classes. And then it came to a point where I'm like, okay, I want to create again. And she's been a part of every album I've done and all the videos that I've done. And it's been fun to include motherhood in the next.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so something that clearly I saw you on television, you were on The Voice of Holland, right?
Yeah, we did House Sinners International, and then I did Voice of Holland, and Voice of Holland. My whole going to like opera school was really looked down upon. Like you don't want to do The Voice, or you don't want to do American Idol, and so I kind of had that snobby attitude for a while because it was so common to have. But here I was in my 30s, and I'm a mom, and I'm in another country, and I just thought, this opportunity. And what do I have to lose? Like, I'm just going to do it, and had wonderful friends. As you know, like no matter where you move to, if you're in the arts and you find your tribe, you always have this amazing group of people that, to love and to vibe with. So I met great people, amazing talents. The Voice franchise started in Holland. So yeah, John Jamal, he started The Voice, Big Brother, Fear Factor, like so many of the reality shows he created in Holland. So this is one of them. And so it was like one of their biggest shows and the mother of the whole Voice series. So it was
That's
cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
Like we can't show because I don't want to get cut off.
The royalties, yeah.
But I do have a video that you have on YouTube of a song that you wrote, and you filmed it in Holland. Is that correct?
Yeah. Is this Love the Bodies?
Yes.
Yeah. So this was a one-take video and my favorite video. We did it in a moving car, and it kind of just shows how in life you're always moving, but people come and go out of your life, which is the car. But you just keep moving, and the scenery changes and the passengers change, but you're always moving and learning and growing.
I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Before I do, I want to do a little shout out to Leonie's mom. She's saying hello, you all.
Hi.
South Africa. Hi, Mom. She's always supportive and supporting. So thank you, Mom.
Nice.
Jaclyn and I go way back.
Leonie's really lovely.
And Leonie's sitting over to here. Say hi, Leonie. She has her headphones in. So she's so cute.
So cute.
So let's show the video. So just gonna share my screen. So again, this is called The Bodies We're In.
Love the Bodies We're In, yeah.
Love the Bodies We're In. Written and sung by Jaclyn Bradley Palmer.
Yeah.
And this was filmed in Holland. Let's go with our share.
On a dirt road.
On a dirt road. So I'm gonna go ahead.
Dutch wilderness.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Okay, you can mute me too.
Tell me it's not the end of the world, 'cause I have a love who lives here. Once had a lighthouse, now it's retired. What once led us home is gone dim. Crawl into my bones, give me your skin. Love the bodies we're in. 'Cause if this is it, maybe we should leave. You bring me to faith, and now who knows how many days. Because of you, I'm a disbeliever who prays. Crawl into my bones, give me your skin. Love the bodies we're in. 'Cause if this is it, maybe we should leave. Kiss me beneath the northern lights, then take my hand in Berlin. Tell me we don't have to end before we even begin. Crawl into my bones, give me your skin. Love the bodies we're in. 'Cause if this is it, maybe we should live. Crawl into my bones, give me your skin. Love the bodies we're in. 'Cause if this is it, maybe we should live.
I love it.
Thank you.
Love it so much. That's a tear.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
This is Leonie's mom says, beautiful voice, Jaclyn.
Thank you, Ina.
She has such a beautiful
Oh,
voice.
so kind. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a tearjerker. That's
Yeah.
emotional.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Before we get to, it was really fun to collaborate with people in Holland, and they're so professional. I mean, like Holland, when people do their job, like they're fantastic at it. They really put their heart and soul, and a lot of pride into doing a good job. And so it was, you know, when
Amazing.
you're a singer in Holland, they're like incredible. Like nobody's trying to be a singer. Like it's very, very, they're not very forgiving of people, yeah, of other, you know, they're very honest, very frank. So
That's amazing. You had that opportunity. And that
yeah, it was cool.
So before we get to your next move, now tell us how many albums, because when I did a post on Instagram today, and I had no trouble finding your music on Instagram. Like it was available for my story, and I chose because that's one of Leonie's favorites. So how many albums do you have
So
currently?
under my maiden name, I had 2 that I recorded in Los Angeles with Brian Irwin. And then I did a Kickstarter and recorded an album in Holland. And then I did an EP in Holland. I did a couple singles. And then I did a Christmas album.
Okay.
Yeah, so probably 4 full albums and a couple EPs and some singles. And then I have a new single I just recorded in Nashville that was so much fun. And I recorded with, his name is Joshua Grange, and he plays in Sheryl Crow's band, and that's been
Amazing. We'll have to have you back when that's out.
Definitely, yeah. Hopefully I can
Eventually.
to record some more.
Something live in
Yeah, definitely. I'd love that.
We definitely will. Maybe next summer.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be fun.
Spring will be my next visit for
We
sure.
could do like a live session when we're actually in the same place.
We could do it outside.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, Leonie will come. We can stream, but maybe if we're still social distancing, we can do it outside somewhere and
It'd be fun.
or inside social distancing.
We have to do our show too.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe next summer. I'm hoping that
I
we're
hope so. Yeah.
the
See what's going on in the world. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So you had another significant move. Tell us about that after Holland.
So after probably 4 years in Holland, we lived in Groningen up north, and then Utrecht, which is closer to Amsterdam. And then we went to Ireland, which was a really great experience. The Irish are beautiful people. And what is different? I mean, both the Dutch and the Irish are amazing people. I made great friends, but very different cultures. I think the Dutch are a little more, personal and quiet, and they're very authentic people, but not as outward. And then the Irish are just so exuberant and lovely. And so it was a really, really cool experience. I had to learn how to drive on the wrong side of the road. And that was exciting. But after driving on the 405 in LA,
Oh, you got that. You can do anything after you.
any side of any road.
Yeah, you can conquer anything for sure.
Yeah, that's right.
So in Ireland, you just told us you did another album or an EP.
I did a single.
A single.
I was really missing home at that point. I think my whole life I was like the poster child for leaving home and getting out. And I'm glad I did. I think living somewhere other than your hometown helps you to have a perspective that you wouldn't have had if you had stayed in one place. But I think it also makes you long for home because you come back home. You also see home with new eyes, and you kind of see it for the first time because it's not a given. It's not for granted,
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I realized that everything I was searching for was back home. It's so Wizard of Oz, but it's true. And and now I had a daughter, and I wanted her. She was a wonderful experience. She was speaking Dutch. She was in Irish school. She was very cultured. She's been to 20 countries, but she didn't really know what it was like. Didn't know what being an American was. And I just thought, I want her to know who she is, and I want her to know she's with this amazing family back home. So that's something you can't ever find in any country, anywhere, is family and love and roots. So
Support.
support. Yeah. So we can, and it's been a great experience coming back with new eyes.
That's awesome. So I have another video queued up to show.
Yeah.
And grab that over here and tell us a little bit about this video and the title of the song.
Is it American Heart?
Yeah.
Okay. So this one we filmed, I kind of fell in love with Ireland, the different places and the sites. And I wanted, people who haven't been to Ireland to kind of see that through this video. It's, 3-minute video. And so we see many of the famous spots of Dublin. And as we do, we also think about, the pieces of ourselves that we left back home. I remember walking through the streets, in Europe one day, and there was something going on back home politically. Go figure. And I was very upset that I couldn't be there to, support the people that I wanted to. And I was listening to my, iPhone. I had I put on "Proud to Be an American," and I'm like walking the streets, bawling my eyes out. And I never felt that patriotic before, but here I was over an ocean, longing to be in America, and I never really loved my country like that. But being away, I longed for it. So this song is kind of about that, and appreciating where you're from.
All right, so let's show it. Let's do this. This is also by Jaclyn Bradley Palmer. She filmed this in Ireland. I'm going to go ahead and mute us.
Sure, and it was recorded by it was still recorded by a Dutch guy named Heis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. I'm excited. I love this.
You're wild American, no one knows your plan. It is good to be young and to be free, you will never take away. Hold on, girl, hold on, girl. You might be far from the 50 stars, but they'll never take away your American heart, American heart, American heart, American heart. Try to run away, an ocean between. What they all ran from, I ran right to. Try to take away, but hold on, girl. Hold on, girl. You might be far from the 50 stars, but they'll never take away your American heart, American heart, American heart, American heart. Hold on, girl. Hold on, girl. You might be far from the 50 stars, but they'll never take away your American heart, 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 American heart. heart.
That was amazing.
Thank you. It's funny watching that. I haven't watched that in a while, and like it was actually a very kind of turbulent time in my life when I filmed that. So like watching on the other side
cool.
is like kind of surreal.
I have yet to go there, and both sides of my family are Irish, and it has to happen.
We should go. I'll go with you. I'll show you around.
Okay, we should make a plan.
I know.
So Leonie, so I have to catch up with our comments here.
Oh.
This is Leonie's uncle, Ina's brother.
Aww.
He loves us and misses us. Thank you, Dion. I call him Boots because in South African, the name for brother is Booty. Is it Boots? Yeah. Boots, something, Boots. So I call him Boots because I don't ever remember. Then Leonie says, I remember that port in Ireland.
Oh, Dunleary.
She's been there.
Wow.
And then gave us some dancing emojis because we communicate emojis in this family.
Oh, nice. I love it.
When in doubt, send me a unicorn, you know.
Yes.
So I forgot about, because we have to move on. There's a whole other chapter coming. Ireland's Got Talent. Tell us about that.
So Ireland's Got Talent was such a fun experience coming from like Voice of Holland, which was like brutal, and I did well on it, and the chair turned, and I did a battle, and the colleagues were amazing, but the judging like was very harsh. It was a very like you had to it was be perfection. Now Ireland, they loved everyone. Like everyone made the show because they're just like such happy, loving, like you're not mean to anyone to their faces in Ireland. So it was just a whole different experience of love and coddling, and it was a very like safe and loving competition.
Now, which competition did you sing that really tough pop song? And I'm so sorry I didn't research enough to get the title for you. It was hard. Was that the Holland show?
Probably.
Yeah,
I did a medley. I did a medley of opera and musical theater and Lady Gaga for Holland, Ireland.
I just remember watching one of your videos saying that's hard. I know that.
Well, like I didn't get to choose my songs, so that was really hard.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it would have been better if and a lot of times you wouldn't get your song until the last minute. Like they could change things at any moment. I'm probably gonna get sued for saying this, but anyway, they can change things on you. There were people that like were all ready to go with their song that they had practiced for weeks, and then all of a sudden changed. They changed my wardrobe right before I went on stage, the one that I've been practicing. Yeah, so it was like, I think that's kind of how they fix things. You know what I mean? They cut you off guard, give you a new song at the last minute. You know what I mean? So it was a mind game for sure. But it was, for me, like I said, it wasn't life or death for me. Like I was doing it for fun, but a lot of people, like I think, had therapy after doing that.
Oh, I could definitely.
A lot of my friends were not okay, but it was a good experience for me. But it was crazy.
I can't even.
No,
I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
And I know we breezed by the HGTV show. But that was also very cool.
It was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Choose your place. So all of that now has brought you back, and you just opened the Rocktown Music Academy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So growing up, everyone went and took lessons at Driscol's Music, which was your family. Your grandfather started that?
Yep. 1937.
1936. So it was open until I think 2012 or 2014.
I think 2017 it finally.
Yeah. So, whatever it was, when I came home, it was gone. And I'm like,
yeah,
the town's in a revitalization finally now. You have nowhere for the kids to take music lessons. And I would have never done this if Driscoll was open, but Driscoll's was not there. And I'm like, okay, how can I give back to the community? and I wanted to give back. And so it was kind of an obvious thing. I would come home in the summers and I would give voice lessons, and it would always fill up really quickly. So I knew that there was a need for that. And then I thought, if I could bring in voice, piano teachers and guitar teachers and kind of make a place where kids can come take lessons that are affordable right in their own home.
Right.
So I have contractors that give the piano and guitar, and I do the voice.
I was going to ask, yeah.
And I've been doing Zoom voice lessons. And I've talked to the health board, and they're going to let me start in-person voice lessons this week with this plexiglass barrier between us.
Okay.
I'll wear a mask, and then they'll be behind a plexiglass thing.
That's great.
Yeah, so it's been surreal, and but we've been doing really well. I mean, I have, I think, 40 students over 2 days with all the instruments, and I have 2 guitar teacher contractors and a piano teacher and me. So there's 4 of us that give lessons, and we are only open 2 days a week right now because of COVID.
Right.
But it's
amazing.
Yeah, there's been an interest and a real support from the community. Lorain's really good about supporting local businesses. So
Well, and between my high school and obviously our experience with Palace Youth Theater and of course the Palace in general, and also both of our high schools, I just feel like there's so much talent. I mean, I remember my high school musicals. It was just, and some people are still pursuing the arts as a professional career, or they're teaching, or
Garfield, right?
Yeah, Garfield is. I just saw him 2 weeks ago. He's on hiatus from the Jesus Christ Superstar tour, but he got word about COVID quarantine while he was touring in Cleveland. So I don't think they played any performances, but he said they're picked back up starting in April.
There's just so much talent that came. I mean, Toni Morrison,
yeah,
and
incredible.
Yeah.
I'm very proud, but I wouldn't. My parents obviously, put me in classes, and my mom played my college auditions and definitely.
Did you take piano lessons at Driscol's?
I took piano lessons at Driscol's in Elyria because my dad was in charge of the one in Elyria.
Oh.
But my mom put me in voice lessons at Baldwin Wallace and moved to Oberlin when I was 17 to prepare for college.
Wow.
And it prepared me for college. I mean, but Oberlin, Baldwin Wallace, Cleveland, it's just all so close.
Yeah.
I had all the education to teach me. I just wasn't a good child student.
Parents aren't. I don't teach my daughter for a reason.
I got mean once I got a really good accompanist, and my friend Jeremy Reich. He worked with me at Cedar Point, but he was a classical. Now he's a teacher in LA. Actually, he went to the education route, and she's like, well, now you're just a snob because you have all these like fancy. But she did play for me, songs out of. I mean, she could play a lot of things, but we sang songs out of art songs, and had to sing one simple aria for college or something. I don't know. I got in. I don't know. Did whatever it took to get in. But yeah, she was definitely pinnacle in support. And obviously she choreographed all the musicals at Admiral King and the Palace, etc. So
yeah, she's like a local legend for sure.
Yeah, thank you. So 4 minutes. I know Ina, who is tuning in from South Africa, would love to hear this song. And this is just an example, in my opinion, of the voice I fell in love with Jaclyn when she was. And one fun fact, totally forgot about this. Jaclyn and I crossed paths in 2007. You were singing the national anthem at the Lorain International pageant.
Yes, and you were MC?
Yeah, and that's I think that's when we reconnected after LA.
After LA.
Yeah, it's just such a small world. I love it.
And I didn't know that you were home, so it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, again meeting up at the Palace.
Yeah, right, and totally random. I think I did that 2 years in a row, and then they started using a radio or a television personality from Cleveland. But I was very honored to be asked to do that, even for a brief time.
That's so cool.
This next clip is Jaclyn. This is on your holiday album. Is that correct?
It is, yeah, and it's a duet with an amazing Dutch singer named Lorain, and he does like the Broadway shows in Amsterdam. He's really amazing.
Okay, so this I'm going to shout out to Ina because she loves this style of music. Out to her. We're going to show it, and then we're going to have a couple minutes and just recap and close our interview.
Sounds good.
So this is Jaclyn from her holiday album. Now, all of these can be downloaded on Apple Music.
Yeah.
Apple
Music, Spotify, everywhere.
Okay. Very, very accessible. Yeah. So let's watch Jaclyn.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth.
Long lay the world in sin and error pining till he appeared, and the soul felt its worth.
A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born, oh, night divine, oh, night divine.
Truly he taught us to love one another. His law is love, and his gospel is peace.
Chains shall he break, for all men are brothers, and in his name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus raise we, let all within us praise his holy name. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born, oh, night divine, oh, night divine.
Okay, hey.
That was amazing. Sorry. I clicked out. Did you see me crying? I was totally crying.
Yes.
And I'm like, Leonie, give me a tissue. She has her earphones in. She can't hear me. I was totally crying. Totally crying. It was so beautiful.
Oh my God, Lorain just gets me every time. He's so cool. And it was cool to watch that again. But we don't sit and watch my own videos all the time. But it was cool. The chorus are all like people I was really close friends to. So it's like hit me in the heart too to see them.
Yeah.
That church was built in like the 1200s. It's like one of the oldest churches standing in Holland. Yeah.
So beautiful.
Yeah, it was so beautiful.
Oh my goodness. So in order for anyone to sign up to take lessons, do you have openings or are you slowly opening because of COVID?
I can teach anyone in the world through Zoom voice lessons. You can email me at info@rocktownlorain.com.
When we're done, definitely either we can repost, you can repost this video or you can just text it to me so I can repost it to make sure, because I know like our good friends, Marcy and Jenny and people who have young children have either they've contacted you or I know they've talked about it with me to come and for their children, because I know I think of any place, any child would be in better hands than any.
And it's funny, I teach all ages. Like I have a mother-daughter that come in and they do lessons at the same time, and I have a couple seniors taking guitar lessons, and it's really cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
I think, and I also think, I mean, I'm not that attached to any education system at the moment. I taught school programs for a long time in New York City, but I think a lot of places have cut arts. I couldn't be specific about it because I'm not sure, but
you're right.
Even as an adult, because I know I still train. John Bronston is my vocal coach and my music director when I do my cabaret shows. I'm hoping to come to Lorain and come play for us.
Definitely.
He already said yes, so hopefully after, we can definitely do that next year. But even like with Leonie, she plays guitar and she started taking lessons. She took lessons in school, brought it back. So now we not have one guitar, not two guitars, but 3 guitars. Our good friend gifted her one. I bought one at Driscol Music right before they closed, which is pink and super cute. Another one. But I think development in general, even in adults, I mean, any age, I just think any kind of music class, even if you're not pursuing it as a career, it boosts like different levels in your brain. I think it helps you in other areas of your life.
It does.
As you know, being a music therapist, we call them stress. Like I think if I sing or have a session and I sing, I'm hungry, because usually I'm breathing better than when I normally breathe.
Yes.
I also feel better.
Yeah, it's so true. And I will say that a couple people that have signed up as seniors to take piano lessons, they're like my biggest, advertisers throughout the community, because they're so excited to be learning something new. It's like a bucket list thing for them. And they take it so seriously and they practice. And it's true, when you come to something as an adult, it's different than coming to it as a child,
Yeah.
So it's open to all ages. And like I said, if people aren't in Lorain, they can still do Zoom coaching, Zoom voice lessons. So
awesome.
Lorain. And Lorain is spelled Lorain. So rocktownlorain.com is the website.
Well, I'm definitely going to share it out with this video for sure.
Thank you.
So if anyone wants to watch the video again, if you wanted to share, you could share this video. I also post to YouTube as well. Facebook, we usually get more traction, but I know that today was so special having you and sharing your career. I mean, we touched most things. I know there's lots of things we didn't touch on, but just keep going. And I'm excited for your next album. I'm excited to come visit you and do a show with you in Lorain.
Oh my gosh, we have to do it at both locations. We'll have to do it here, and we'll have to do it at Stonewall.
Oh, definitely.
That'd be so much fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, and when we come to Stonewall, we can add our band members. I have I have a guitar player and a drummer, and they also both sing, that have joined our little tribe here.
We have to get Leonie in on our act to play guitar.
Yeah. Leonie, are you gonna play?
Ask my teacher.
So her teacher is my guitar player and my
Aw.
John. So yeah, we'll definitely do something really fun here in New York
Yes.
in our venue in Lorain, and I can't wait.
I know. When are you guys going to be in town? I'd love to like have you over for.
Definitely. We're thinking spring. And
Okay, cool. Let's.
if we can't come if she's in school, I'll come by myself.
Good.
My sister's daughter, my niece, had a baby during COVID, so I'm due to see them as well. So I'm hoping like May.
Okay. Well, I hope to see you soon, and thank you for having me to be a part of your series. I'm so
Oh my
proud
God.
of you. You've been like a total inspiration to me to go into the arts, and like I think I saw you as such a star here in our community. So when I got to the Palace and you were really nice to me and you believed in me, that was like a really big deal for me. So thank you. Thank you for all you've done to inspire me.
My mom definitely was my inspiration, because I've never had a problem with female friendships. I've never had that problem. And so all of the female friendships we still have in Lorain, and I feel like supporting one another is so important.
Yeah.
And no matter if it's in the arts or just, general women.
No, I have this really great desire now to help women. And
Yeah,
so
too.
through music therapy and through music, like I was actually just talking about this. I definitely want to use, it used to be children's hospitals and hospitals. Now I really want to like help women. And
Yes.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Any chance I have, and Leonie and I have a same desire to help people, and it comes organically, because not everybody asks for help, and sometimes when it's organic and it just happens, I'm not advertising I help people, but I all the time.
Yeah.
And it's something that when it's just organic, it feels right.
Mm-hmm.
So it means that it's not solicited. It's just something that just.
And when you're open to it, things come to you that are meant to be, and people come into your life, and you help each other.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to close, and I hope you stick around backstage for a few minutes. I know it's going on 11:10.
Thank you for having me. I am so honored.
Well, I'm glad you were able to come a little later so we could, relax and, have our, Saturdays. I keep it open because it's, you never know. Saturday, you might have something come up. And with people with children, it's like sometimes earlier is better. I like to keep it open. So thank you for your time tonight.
Thanks for your flexibility. I love talking to you, Melissa.
Absolutely. Oh, we get Leonie's mom says she loved the show.
Oh,
Thanks, Mom.
thank you so much.
Leonie gives us a big smiley face.
Aw.
I love it. All right. Thank you so much. And stick around backstage for a few minutes. Okay. I love you.
Love you too.
That was Jaclyn Bradley, everybody. Isn't she amazing? I think her voice is one of the most gorgeous voices I've ever seen. So next week we have Dan. We spoke of Leonie's music teacher. It's going to be Dan. He has an incredible array of music he's going to play for you. He plays guitar, bass, he sings, he's interesting, he's fun, he's under 30. And he's just super fun and young, and his career is booming. So we'll talk to him next week. Let's do a little service announcement. What are we talking about today? We are going to wear a mask. We're going to be kind to others. And something super important to me, you are all going to vote. Mask, be kind, and vote. I love you all. Good night.
For you, it's a new point of view to chew over what's new to you. Shoot the breeze, make buddies, and Melissa MCs, families, memories. Original artists.